সুপ্রিয় দর্শক, বিরতির পর আপনাদের সবাইকে আবারও আমন্ত্রণ কমিউনিটি ম্যাটার্সে। আজকে আমরা কথা বলছি একটা খুব ইম্পর্টেন্ট টপিক এবং ফেস্টিভ সিজনের জন্য খুব রিলেভেন্ট একটা টপিক, অ্যাজ উই গোয়িং টু সেলিব্রেট ক্রিসমাস ইন 2 days টাইম। আজকে আমরা কথা বলছি, ডাজ রিলিজিয়ন ব্রিং আস টুগেদার অর ডাজ ইট ডিভাইড আস মোর দ্যান এনি টাইম বিফোর? এবং এই ব্যাপারে কথা বলার জন্য আমার সাথে উপস্থিত আছেন অন মাই রাইট হ্যান্ড সাইড মিসেস এলিসন জোন্স, তারপর উপস্থিত আছেন মিস্টার ইসাকুদ্দিন। On my left hand side I have Mr. Saif Townsend এবং আমার হাতের সর্ব বাম পাশে উপস্থিত আছেন Mr. Rafid Jubair Choudhury. Thank you all four of you once again for joining us today on NTV Europe. Today we're talking about, does religion bring us together or does it divide us more than any time before? On our first segment we learned a lot about your experience getting involved with the community, as all four of you emphasize that you always try to find out the common ground, bringing people from different faith together on important issues, as for example Gaza, Palestine, and other important issues as well. This segment will try to find out whether media or political organization play any sort of role in anti-Semitism or Islamophobia or other sort of stigma or stereotype that exist in our society. So if I may start with you, Mrs. Ellison Jones, whenever we read newspaper, all mainstream media, and then also the same time with the flourishment of social media, sometimes we get lots of news that is not backed up by proper facts and figure. Muslim man did that, Christian man did that, Jewish man did that, Hindu man did that. We are driven by the media and political organization. They are driven by some sort of agenda to divide us. Do you agree with that, or how do you see that?
I think it's unfortunately, I think now you're more likely to get described as a Muslim man or a Muslim woman than you are about a Jewish or a Christian person taking part in doing something. Right. People don't often say, oh, a Hindu person or a Jewish person or a Christian person. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, over the last 5-10 years, it has been much more, the word Muslim has been associated with acts of violence, and Islamic is growing, which may have happened a few years. I started off as a youth worker in Northern Ireland in the Troubles. And I worked there in 1978 when Belfast only had, in the centre of Belfast, a youth club. And in those days, the youth club was about 70% Protestant, 30% Catholic. And it was unusual because Catholic and Protestant young people were coming together. Right. But for them, they were coming to a place in the centre of town where they wanted to meet. And one of the big problems.
Sorry to interrupt you. We do have a caller. We'll come back to you once again. Assalamu alaikum caller, আপনার পরিচয় দিয়ে দয়া করে আপনার প্রশ্নটি করুন।
Assalamu alaikum. Can I speak to Brother Ishaq here?
Absolutely, ভাই। আপনার পরিচয়টা দিয়ে তারপরে
I'm very well known to Brother Ishaq. I just want to congratulate all you guys.
Thank you.
Making such a brilliant program, and obviously you guys are talking very, very interesting things, and
thank you so
I
very
really
much.
wish I should be there to listening to you, but obviously I wish all the best to you guys.
Thank you.
And
thank
Brother
you.
Ishaq, carry on the good works. You are a role model for brothers who are watching you.
Thank you so very much, Bhaiya. Thank you for watching NTV, and thank you for
Thank you. Any question you want to ask, or are you okay?
I have a specific question. So, for example, the stuff we are doing within ourselves, within our community, and a lot of things we're doing individually, how can we do it collectively and make one whole global village, and to obviously diminish the racism and things like that? Obviously, we all talk individually and we do a lot of stuff individually. How can we exchange it to other community and facilitate for everybody to a universal program?
Collective effort. Thank you so very much, Bhaiya. We'll try to find out about collective effort, whether we can do things together so that everyone is doing things into pieces.
Can I tell a story?
Please.
There is a night shelter run by the churches in Tower Hamlets called Growth. about 4 years ago, I started volunteering.
Right.
And I was talking to some of my Muslim friends, and they were saying, there aren't many homeless people in Tower Hamlets. I said, well, actually, about half the ones who go to Growth are actually Muslims. And they were saying, oh, no, no, there aren't any. And I was saying, yes. And over the last 3 years, Muslim women and men have been volunteering at a church-run night shelter every other Thursday for the last 3 years. They've cooked the food and they've come and served. And for many, it's been the first time the people in the churches have actually worked alongside Muslims. And for many of the Muslims, it's the first time they've actually been in the crypt of a church. Now, that's about people coming together, but people don't know that story.
So information, giving out that information is quite important as well.
And I think one of the problems is finding the link. Because we can have things happening in mosques, in churches, in synagogues, but unless there is a person who links people together, who's got that passion, people will just stay in their own little groups.
Absolutely. And I'm sure that, you know, if any person got any spare time, I'm sure that they would be able to do some sort of volunteering for few hours at their spare time for a good cause. But people need to know that information, and I think there should be some sort of you know, curriculum or some sort of mechanism in place so that you know, organization can give out that information and they can reach to a wider community. The point that you are making, that you know, the Islamophobia is growing. I mean, the question that I asked you earlier, that do you think it is driven by some sort of political agenda? The way we see, you know, that certain religious community, they have been portrayed in a very negative way on media. Do you think it's driven by some sort of political agenda?
I'm not sure if it's a political agenda or people who are not informed. I think there is people who take stereotypes, and it is easy to go with those stereotypes. And unless they've actually sat down and eaten and had conversations, then it's easy to keep on with the stereotypes of what I say. And I think it's actually, so it's easy to get onto the thing of, oh, we have, you know, that it's many Pakistani men who are getting involved in sex crimes in Bradford or places like that, without actually looking and saying, what's happening? What is it about this community? Let's talk about it in a different way. And so I think it's easier just, the social media can take one fact and exaggerate it or put it forward, and then it gets expanded all the time.
We have seen that particularly during America's presidential election, during Brexit, and during many other political events as well. So I think politicians or those particular organizations, that should take into consideration that, you know, sharing that particular Facebook link or Twitter link or, you know, YouTube link can cause harm to the society and can divide the society.
And unfortunately, things like the Imam at Finsbury Park Mosque, who actually came out and helped the man who was run over, and the interfaith service that was happened at Southwark Cathedral after London Bridge, those don't get as much publicity as what's actually the negative things. I think that is led by the media. The media could be asked to do a lot more about showcasing the good things of interfaith stuff rather than actually the negative.
Thank you so very much, Alison. Isaguddin Bhai, if I may ask you the same question, do you think this media propaganda attacking any particular society or community or faith group is driven by any sort of political agenda?
I think not all media are playing that role. There are some media, negative media, they are playing that role. So you will go everywhere, you will find somebody is playing a bad role. But media, they have a job to do. So people who are watching media, we need to look. If media says like that, let's go and research, let's go and see the whole point.
Fact check.
Otherwise, it's not going to work. You could see before I met Saf and Alison, amazing people. Saf actually fasted for people of Palestine for peace. I never heard that before. A Jewish person, a respected Jewish person, fasting for peace in Palestine. How often we hear this?
No, we don't. We don't hear this sort of stories quite often.
And like Alison said, so we had, there's a fear here, like even from the faith groups, like because we don't know about them, we think, what's going to happen? I don't like that. Because of them, these things are happening. We need to come out and say, look, tell me what you believe, tell me who you are, then we can work together. Alison is working with a lot of Bangladeshi women. She's been to Bangladesh, she ate with them, she slept with them. She went to the pond and she actually done the swimming in the pond. Can you imagine the experience she had there? So I think we all can't keep on blaming on the media for everything.
Right.
They got a role to play.
We need to take certain responsibility.
We got to
as
do
well.
some responsibility
Right.
as well.
We need to do our homework before
Definitely,
we believe
definitely. So actually, like I said before, there are lots of organizations,
something. Right.
a Jewish organization and a Christian organization, they want to work together.
Mm-hmm.
So we all need to come up. We all have a responsibility to go out and play that role.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way we can actually. I'm very proud as a Muslim. I'm very proud. Like we said before, is religion dividing? There is a case here. I think more than 3,000 religions around in the world.
Right.
3,000, more than that. It is problematic. Well, where does a person go? Someone who doesn't believe in religion, where does he go? Which one does he follow? Which one does he choose?
Mm-hmm.
They're all saying nice thing, but within that religion, you will find some people fanatics.
Mm-hmm.
In all religion, to
Absolutely.
be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
In Islam, we believe we are from Adam and Eve, and we are children of Adam and Eve. So we are from the one branch, we believe in one God, actually gives you amazing direction.
Mm.
When I studied our Jewish faith and their books, I not studied it, I found an amazing teaching there, almost like Quran.
Mm-hmm.
The
More similarity than differences.
Definitely, they believe in one God, they worship one God. They pray like us.
Mm-hmm.
They do 3 times, we do 5 times.
Right.
We respect Abraham, they respect Ibrahim. We respect Moses, Jesus, they respect Moses, Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes on and on, like food we have, kosher food. It's a halal food.
Mm-hmm.
The marriage system, the usury system, dress code, so much thing in common. Why are we different?
Right.
And they say, one of the historians are saying, one of the best time Jewish community had was under Muslim ruling.
Mm-hmm.
In Spain, in other places, they said there was the
Religious
best time.
freedom and-
They were just like that. When they used
Right.
to go out, Muslims used to leave their kids with the Jewish community to look after the kids in the shopping. Same opposite as well. So these things not being coming out in the media now.
Right.
It's just like we have been moved
Right.
away. So Palestine becoming an
Mass has been
example
distorted. Right.
that people think good or bad. No, that's not the case. There are a lot of people in Palestine, they're living together, they're fine. It's just at the top, politicians are playing their role, and we think everybody's like that.
Thank
no.
you. Thank you. Thank you so very much. Mr. Sif, in shared civilized society, media should play a very constructive role. Do you think media is playing that sort of role in
Well,
bringing
it's
communities
interesting.
together?
Because in Britain we have something that we think of as a free press. But I believe that doesn't mean to say you can say anything you like about anybody.
Right.
I'm Jewish. Now, more than 100 years ago, in 1900, 1901, 1902, 1906, a lot of Jewish refugees came to this country. And there were certain newspapers which still exist today,
Right.
the daily small newspapers, tabloid newspapers, supposed to be very nice. And they were saying such terrible things about the Jewish people coming into this country, that they brought disease, that they move on 100 years, and it's almost the same story that has been written in those same newspapers that are part of our freedom of expression.
Right.
Well, to me, something's gone wrong when you can say anything about anybody. If you just look at the headlines over the last 2 years, no wonder people are, as you said, Alison, following stereotypes. They're following stereotypes because it's coming at you in the face. There's something called Stop Funding Hate, which
Right,
is
yes.
actually telling people, if you go for this company who's putting money into that newspaper, then you're funding hate. And the newspapers are losing influence.
Right.
They're probably, some of them, having to close. But
There are
as you
financial
say,
implications on them.
it
yeah.
follows through in the social media. And as you said, Ishaq, the stories that are important are not getting through. I mean, there's a Jewish community in the north of London that's opening its arms to
Even
an Islamic
refugees.
community who has nowhere to. A Somali Islamic community has nowhere to pray. They can come there and pray in the synagogue. There's room for 60 refugees to come regularly in South London. I'm not saying the Jews are doing any better than anyone. We're all working together. The Christian community, the Islamic community, the Jewish community. But it's really interesting that it's the religious communities who are looking after the refugees. And to me, the media is
doesn't-
failing. The media is failing, but
to
we're not
showcase the
getting the
good.
stories out
Thank you.
sufficiently.
Thank you very much. Rafid, we'll talk more about this topic and we'll try to learn from you as well. We need to go for a quick break. সুপ্রিয় দর্শক, আজকে কমিউনিটি ম্যাটার্সে আমরা কথা বলছি, ডাজ রিলিজিয়ন ব্রিং আস টুগেদার অর ডাজ ইট ডিভাইড আস মোর দ্যান এনি টাইম বিফোর? আমরা যাবো একটা বিরতিতে, আমাদের সাথেই থাকবেন।